They say you can buy anything in the city if you know the right alley. Wealth, beauty, a second chance at a ruined life. But at the edge of the map, past the iron gates where the cobblestones turn to dirt, stands a shop with no sign. Inside sits a tailor who does not measure your chest, your waist, or your height. He measures your shadow, and before he reaches for his shears, he always says the same words. Every masterwork requires a thread. Julian was a painter whose hands had failed him. Once celebrated, now forgotten. He lived in a tiny garret where ink froze in the winter and damp crept across unfinished canvases. He had sold his brushes, his coat, and even his pride. All that remained was a desperate, growing hunger to create one last masterpiece, one painting that would make the world remember his name before he starved. For weeks, he had heard whispers in the smoky taverns about the tailor at the edge of the city. Most call it a ghost story. Tonight, desperation has carried him to the door. The tailor never asked for gold. He never asked for silver. He simply smiled, a thin, paper dry smile, and lifted a pair of ancient silver shears. A masterpiece, he whispered, demands a heavy drape. The blades closed. Julian felt no pain, only a freezing draft blooming inside his chest, as though a window had been opened deep within his soul. Then the tailor draped a black coat across his shoulders. The cold vanished instantly. The fabric settled over him like a second skin, warm, almost alive. The tailor handed him a fresh canvas and a brush. For the first time in years, Julian's hands did not shake. Within a month, his paintings transformed the city. Collectors fought over them, critics called them haunting, museums begged for exhibition. People claimed every portrait felt as though it was watching them. Julian had become the artist he had always dreamed of becoming. Yet, something was changing. Names slipped from his memory. The sound of his mother's laughter disappeared. The streets where he had grown up became impossible to remember. One evening, beneath the bright lights of his newest exhibition, an admirer frowned and quietly asked, "Where is your shadow?" Julian laughed. He looked down. Nothing, only polished marble beneath his feet. That night, he stood before the mirror in his apartment. His reflection had faded into small, little more than a pale outline. Panicking, he reached towards the glass. His fingers passed through his own face as though he were reaching through the smoke. His eyes dropped to the black coat. It wasn't keeping him warm anymore. It had been weaving him into itself all along. The seams tightened. Fine black threads crept across the fabric like living veins, pulling the last fragments of his soul into every stitch. By dawn, Julian was gone. Some say he vanished into his final painting. Others believe the coat simply finished its work. Only an empty chair remained, and folded neatly across it, a perfectly tailored black coat. The shop at the edge of the city is still there, waiting, silent, patient. If you ever find yourself standing before the shop with no sign, and the tailor asks what you desire, leave before he reaches for the shears. What would you trade to get everything you ever wanted? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe if you dare to walk these dark paths again. Until next time, keep your candles lit.